This is Mr. Martin. This video is for Pre-Calc Honors. We're looking at graphing reciprocal trig functions. So in this particular problem, we're going to look at graphing y equals 4 secant 2x plus 3. So in a similar manner to the previous video where we graphed a cosecant function, we're going to graph the secant by first looking at how we would graph the cosine function. So we're going to go through almost this entire problem pretending that it was a cosine problem, and then when we get to the graph, we'll actually graph the secant. So let's go ahead and figure out A, B, C, and D. A is 4, B is 2, C is 0, so there's no phase shift, and D is 3. So my amplitude is going to be 4. My period is 2 pi over b, so that's 2 pi over 2, which is pi. Phase shift, again, we said was 0 because c is 0. Phase shift is c over b. Vertical shift is based on d, so that's 3, so we're going to go up 3. And then my distance between key points is my period divided by 4, so that's pi over 4. So I'm going to go ahead and make a table of 5 values to help me with the graph of one period. If there was a phase shift, that would be my first x value, but since my phase shift is 0, my first x value is going to be 0. And then to get to my next key point, my distance between key points is pi over 4, so I'm just going to go pi over 4 away from that. So that's going to be 1 pi over 4, continue to add pi over 4. That's going to be 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and 4 pi over 4, which is pi. And then we'll go ahead and substitute these values into my cosine. So I have a cosine of 2 times 0, that's going to be 1 times 4 plus 3 is 7. Cosine of 2 pi over 4, that's pi over 2. Cosine at pi over 2, that's the top of the unit circle, is 0. So 4 times 0 plus 3 is 3. Pi over 2, that's going to give me cosine of pi, which is negative 1. So that's 4 times negative 1 plus 3 is negative 1. 3 pi over 4, so that's 6 pi over 4, which is 3 pi over 2. The cosine there is 0, so that's going to be 3. And then cosine of 2 pi is 1, so that's going to give me 7 again. Alright, now that we have these 5 key points, let's go ahead and take a look at our graph. So we're going to go every pi over 4. Pi over 4, pi over 2, 3, 2 periods again, pi over 4, 6 pi over 4 is 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4, and then 8 pi over 4 is 2 pi. And then we need to go from negative 1, just put negative 1 down there, and we'll put 7 up here. Scale's a little bit off, but that's okay. Alright, so we have 0, 7, pi over 4, that's going to be right about, let's put it there, 3. Pi over 4, 3, pi over 2, negative 1, 3 pi over 4, 3 again, and then pi 7. So here's one period. Again, just like the last video, we're going to dash this in because this is not actually the secant curve. This is just going to help us to draw the secant curve. Alright, let's do one more period. So we'll continue our pattern. One more point up there at 2 pi. Dash in a nice smooth curve. Alright, so just like the last video, all these spots in the mirror, in the middle, in the mirror. All these spots in the middle are where this cosine value is 0. So that means that the secant values are going to be undefined. So we're going to draw in asymptotes again at all those middle spots. So there's an asymptote at pi over 4, another one at pi over, or at 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. All right, so we haven't really drawn the graph yet. We're going to in a second. Let's move this out of the way. Let's get this over there too. Okay. All right, so now, just like we reflected the pieces in between the asymptotes, we're going to do the same thing here. It gets a little tricky on the ends because we only have half of that U shape over here. So I'm going to flip just that half up and we'll approach the asymptote. We can't hit the asymptote because it's undefined at pi over 4. And then we'll take this piece here and we'll reflect that down and approach the asymptotes. And then same thing here. Approach our asymptotes. Same thing here. And then one more there. So the green, that's actually our graph of the cosecant. Okay, everything else here, all that red stuff is just to help us. So we have 2 full periods. Let me just kind of highlight one period here. This is one period of the secant curve. And then this would be a second period of the secant curve. All right, so if you have any questions, make sure you check in with me, and we'll see you in the next video.